Greetings and welcome to another episode of Q Points Podcast. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. And Sir Daniel, I am so happy to be going on this trip with you. This is going to be a fun show.
It is absolutely going to be a fun show. We are heading to Bridgetown right now. We're going to get us some fish cakes and flying fish. And we are going to have a great conversation about Riot Rose and Rocky's mom. We are talking about none other than the jewel of the island of the sun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this right now, J. Ray. Robyn Fenty is the last important international pop star of our lifetime. I'm going to say that right. I'm just going to put that right there. Y'all could argue in the comments and everything. But J. Ray, we just want to take this moment and just discuss the importance and the impact of Rihanna on the pop culture landscape. And before we go any further, so I will say this. So Rihanna is probably the most recognizable Bajan female artist, but I want to give a salute to some very important people like Alison Hinds, who is the queen of soca music, Shontelle Lane, who is also who came along and was also in the vein of Rihanna as far as pop R&B, Tamara Marshall, Rosemary Phillips, and Shanta Price. I just want to give those ladies a nod. They're Bajan women performers, and they may not necessarily get the same shine that Rihanna has gotten, but they are also very important to laying the foundation and the blueprint for who we recognize as the pop R&B princess of the 21st century.
Yeah, thank you so much for lifting up the names of those women. I think it's so important to talk about the people who kind of paved the way. And Rihanna is such a interesting artist because I think if we were to go back in time, if we went into our Wayback Machine into 2005, and first of all, I don't know if this is true for you, Sir Daniel, but this was definitely true for me. Rihanna, because she was a teenage girl, she was doing that mid-2000s pop R&B that wasn't really my thing. You know what I'm saying? I knew of her existence. So when I first heard Pon de Replay, I was like, oh, that's a cute song. You know what I mean? But you know, it was squarely for a generation that I was no longer a part of. So I recognized that she was present. I recognized that she was talented. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like, oh, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
What I find so interesting about Rihanna is that she's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been very easy for her. And not to compare her to Janet Jackson, because we've talked about this offline. I think Rihanna's comparison is different.
Absolutely.
You know, but I think in the same way that Janet Jackson had a very clear vision that emerged about what her career was going to be, Rihanna did that exact same thing of like, I am going to have this particular career. And when we just run down the numbers, this is fascinating. So first and foremost, Rihanna is in the top 5 of biggest selling artists of all time for women. She's ahead of Whitney. She's ahead of Madonna, which is crazy when you think of how new she is compared to those women, and how groundbreaking those women are, right?
Right.
So 14 number ones, it's crazy. 9 Grammys, 12 Billboard Music Awards.
Jesus.
13 American Music Awards, including an Icon Award. This sister right here. See, we be talking about people are legends, and I think sometimes we throw this that word around really loosely.
Yeah, completely. Yes.
But when it applies to when we say this with Rihanna, it's actually true. She has 7 diamond singles. That means that is the equivalent of 10 million units of a song.
So, and she's only got 8 albums.
And she's only got 8 albums, and she's still young. And
she's still young. she's still here. No,
Yeah.
Only 8 albums, the last of which dropped 10 years ago. And
let's sit with that, which means she was killing it. She was just releasing album after album after album. And I don't know if she's ever talked about this, but I am curious about what was that pace? Like, why that pace?
So look, Music of the Sun, 2005. A Girl Like Me, 2006. Good Girl Gone Bad, 2007. Rated R, 2009. Loud, 2010. Talk That Talk, 2011. Unapologetic, 2012. And then she gave herself a break.
For a few years.
And dropped Auntie in 2016. That needs to be studied. That is either a brilliant work ethic, or it could be exploitive. Something
exploitive, or I'm trying to get out of this deal. I need to get out of this deal.
You know what we love to say on Q Points. Two things can be true at the same time. It could all be true at the same time, and I think that it has worked in her favor. I will say, so you mentioned Madonna. I have to say Rihanna is the direct descendant of Grace Jones and Madonna, in my opinion.
I know, hands freaking down agree. When we talk about comparisons, those are the two that I would come with.
Right. And it has to be said, so you made me think about the very first time I laid eyes on Rihanna was during it was an MTV Music Awards performance of A Girl Like Me. Was that no, it wasn't A Girl Like Me. It was from the Music of the Sun album. It was her very first single.
Oh, Pon de Replay, or SOS was the other big one. Was it SOS?
No, it wasn't. It was more. It was that it had the BDP sample in it.
Oh, I can't remember, child. I don't know. So I wasn't listening to Rihanna back then.
So she's performing on a beach, and she's got the trident, which is featured on the Bajan flag, and immediately, I immediately was like, "Is she Bajan?" Hold up, she's Bajan. Now that I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, let me hear her out, because as somebody who was also born in Barbados, Bajans aren't in the conversation a lot, especially when it comes to international pop stars or even in the conversation about international music. Bajans are kind of on the low. Everybody likes to talk about Jamaica, but Barbados is that girl as well. And we find that out when we're introduced to Rihanna. And even though she's not really, this is squarely R&B pop. There's little tinges of her Bajanness, I would say, that pop up in her visuals, her videos. And clearly when you hear her talk during her interviews, you can hear that chopped up Bajan accent. You know she's from Barbados. And I think automatically you've got all the Bajans on your side, girl. All of us are automatically, we're clocked in like, just on the strength that her name is Robyn, and she's from Barbados. We're all clocked in already on her side. But I'm thinking about her cultural impact, J. Ray, because she's come up in the social media era, which I think had a huge impact on how we digested Rihanna as not only as a performer, but also as a personality. Because baby,
she has a lot of personality, that girl.
Tweets were super, super, super spicy with hot sauce all over them back in the day. And she was also brilliant at becoming the face of unapologetic women
Yeah.
with complete agency over her bodies. It was very clear from the beginning that this girl is here to party,
Yeah.
and she wants you to party with her,
Yes.
which leads to her cultivating community. So she changed fandom into community, because I think that's where we start hearing people calling their fan bases by specific names.
Yep.
So we have the invention of the Navy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And automatically, you and I know people who were clearly Navy and who were clearly Beehive at the time. So this leads me to my question to you, J. Ray.
Yeah.
Why were Rihanna and Beyonce immediately pit against each other when they clearly made different types of music?
Oh, definitely the Jay-Z connection.
Okay.
It was definitely the Jay-Z connection. Like,
yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, but I'm like,
no. You said that's it.
That's really it. Like, because when you go back and you look, because there's two things that were happening at the same time. One, shout out to Jay-Z for this too, because I do think because Jay was fairly new to Def Jam when he signed Rihanna. So she was kind of like, this had to work for him, right? So signing this girl who, for all intents and purposes, there were other girls, and there's performances of this at the time that Rihanna was a part of. There were other girls.
Tierra Marie,
A. Marie, right, that she was on stage with. And if you put, and she wasn't the girl, like she wasn't the pick. Supposed to be the pick, right? And then, of course, she was. Like, now, because we're talking about her as an icon, she absolutely was. So what was strategic, though, is Jay understood what his then girlfriend / fiance, what her fandom was. And Rihanna was in a completely different lane. She was doing international pop R&B at a time when Black women didn't have opportunities like that.
You know what? Not when you put it in that perspective, you're absolutely right. I get it. And to your other point, we hadn't seen a Black female performer connect with an international audience like that since Tina Turner.
Yep. Exactly.
And there's this, which points to an otherworldliness that you have to embody to be palatable by every man. You know what I'm saying? There was just something about her. I'll never forget when Breakfast Club host and media all-star Charlemagne the God, back in the day, every Friday, Charlemagne would ask the question, before you head on into Friday, remember to ask yourself, what would Rihanna do? And it was just, and that just meant that she was the standard of what reckless abandon and partying and having a good time and expressiveness. She was the standard of what that was, without having to, where I think people were still holding Beyonce at a level. They were trying to put, like how we used to do with Whitney. How we used to try and keep Whitney in that prim and proper princess mode. Rihanna came in and was like, you know what? After that, she got rid of the bundles and got that blunt jet black bob. It was was up from there. It was up from there. Everybody, she just completely cut that off and went Berserk on the charts.
Yeah.
And in people's minds, because she lived free in people's minds. And let's face it, she did have a really huge machine behind her.
I'm so glad you went there. That is the perfect segue, because I'm thinking a lot about this, and I'm going back to something you said earlier. And Rihanna has never said this, but I will be curious, because I'm sure we'll get an autobiography from her at some point in the future. But potential exploitation is coming up in my brain for a couple of reasons, right?
Yeah.
So one, this woman, to your point, is working at this incredible pace. Two, this woman is still a young girl navigating this intense international fame, I'm sure with a lot of foolishness going on around her. But also having to navigate being this incredible this public figure that is also a woman who goes through stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, so what she's able to do is she still needs to heal, but she's healing in luxury. It's a luxurious healing, right?
It's a luxurious healing.
But it's healing nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's getting away from everything, putting clean to her family, surrounding herself with her family. I know she spent a lot of time in Barbados, built a huge home for her, a compound for her family, all of that stuff. And I think that lent to her healing and putting things in a perspective to where she could navigate the rest of her career and say, you know what? I only have 2 more records on this contract. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to approach it, because we saw that. It's like we saw after that incident and the things that took place after it and the strategic moves. I really believed it was like, well, I'm looking at the end game here, and I think I've done what I want to do. And I think, which is huge for a performer, because a lot of performers, because of fame, and we all know how intoxicating fame is, a lot of performers aren't able to walk away from that and say, I'm cool on this aspect of being famous. The amount she's probably burnt out from being in the studio. She probably has oodles of music that hasn't even been heard yet. If she wanted to drop a project, there's probably some stuff in the can right now that she could just release and say, here, y'all take that, and have fun with it. But I think life and what I referred to earlier about her understanding the agency that she has over herself and modeling that for other women, I kind of lifted her up in respect to the way other women viewed her, but also made her a target and made other women that came after her targets as well. Because if you notice, the vitriol for women who present like a Rihanna, who present unapologetic and outspoken, now the vitriol has kind of risen for women like that. A la Meg Thee Stallion, who had her own run-in with a man with Bajan lineage, but we're not going to acknowledge him anyway. So, but so I think it's a double-edged sword. She's this face. She's become the face of empowerment, but she's also set the stage for the women that come after her that say, you know what, this is the blueprint of how I want to present. I'm a badass. She literally has introduced us to baddie culture. I would say Rihanna probably created baddie culture in her own way. The best part of baddie culture, I'll say that, because baddie culture has also evolved into something else wild. But let's not negate the business acumen you had mentioned before. Jerry, I just want to go through the fact. I want to say that Rihanna is a university level course on the global impact of branding, branding impact. So you're talking about these people had to believe the fact that she could not only relate to, but entice people that they've created their brands for, these major luxury brands. They're looking at her as luxury. She is the standard of luxury and will attract people to those brands. And that there's not a whole lot of Black women in pop culture that can say that they have been a part of that. So I think I just had to shout her out for that dimension of her business acumen. And I think because of those endorsements and being a ground investor, an early investor in Uber and Tidal, which a lot of people there's can be
People,
debated, is
some people like
debatable
their
right now.
title.
Some people still like Tidal. And the New York Liberty. She's at the ground level of those things and investing in them. So I think those are important because it gave her the freedom to step away from the music.
It is refreshing to know that there is the possibility. Rihanna is the possibility.
Yes.
For what happens when you work hard and do your things and you have the ability to just say, I'm going to do this now. And in her case, she is a mother. She is a partner. She is not pressed about giving us what we think we need. Meanwhile, Anti is a brilliant album. If that is her last album ever, the woman won. The woman just outright won by giving us an incredible classic period of albums, right? But the freedom, watching a Black woman who is able to say, you know what? I've been there. I have done that. I worked my behind off for this. I'm going to go be a mama to these babies and a partner to my man. And I'm just going to live my life with my family. That right there is the message. Do the work. And if you want to step away from it, be cool. She doesn't owe us anything.
I'm glad you said that because that leads to my final point. I think we just have to, I want to express to you, listener, watcher, I want you to sit in this moment of acceptance. I think Jerry, I think you and
Get
I
in your body and you need to embody
I think we've
this.
had enough time we're settled with it. We're good.
Yeah,
we're sitting in it. We're sitting in this acceptance. I think the rest of you all that still and I think y'all are coming around, but the rest of you all that still want to ask questions about music and new music is that, listen, this lady gave us a Super Bowl performance,
which was amazing. All up in the thing. Pregnant!
While pregnant. And she gave us a performance of a lifetime. I don't care whether she was lip syncing or not. She
sounded amazing. That performance went off.
Listen, but so hear me out, guys. I think we just need to sit in this acceptance and lean on those memories, cleave to those memories and the music, the catalog that she has left for you all, for us, and just sit in that. And also, like J. Ray said, look at her as a not necessarily a blueprint or inspiration, a direct inspiration for you, but just look at the possibility. Rihanna is the embodiment of the possibility of what can be achieved when you just have the gumption and a whole lot of attitude and are able to put it in and make it work for you succinctly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I that's just the girl. She really is. She truly is that girl. I mean,
she is.
Again, like I said at the top of the show, at the top of this episode, y'all could argue about it. I think she's probably one of the last important international pop stars of our lifetime.
Yeah. Nope. Absolutely agree. And what I love about this conversation too, Sir Daniel, is we talked about this. Rihanna is outside of the generation that we typically talk about on this show. But what I love about her is she definitely stands direct in the lineage of folks that we do revere and talk about. And we also revere the work that she has done. So go, y'all, and play y'all some Rihanna. Go and find your Rihanna playlists and put them on. I
Play
used
the
to
performances. Play
play
the
the performance.
YouTube performances. That MTV performance where we I think Kid Fury referred to it as the Pasa Pasa performance, where she was wearing she just had on a do-rag.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a whole there wasn't a whole lot of choreography for her to do, but to me that speaks to the power of performance. She has the right amount of music, hits that stick like grits, and the attitude and gravitas to come out there and just have people behind her and just have a good time and do her songs, and people are like, that was the best performance of the evening.
Perfect.
And I'm not just saying that because she's Bajan and I am too, but go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
So some things that y'all need to do. If you can hear our voices, see our faces, go ahead and subscribe to Q Points. Go one step further. You can subscribe and become a member, Q Points Insider, and you can do that on our website. We would appreciate that. So insiders help us to be able to keep this thing going, keep this thing running the way that it run. It keeps that website going. It keeps all of these things that we're able to do. It allows us to be able to do them. So your support would be greatly appreciated. Check us out on Substack. We got a whole bunch of content on Substack for you to check out in addition to the show. And you can shop our store at store.qpoints.com, where you can pick up t-shirts and hoodies and mugs and all the things. We just appreciate y'all and we love y'all.
We sure do. What would Rihanna do? Rihanna would drop a bag on that donation button you see right now on Q Points Podcast. That's exactly what Rihanna would do. But what do I say? What do I always say at the end of every episode? In this life, you have a choice to donate. No, in this life, you have a choice. You could either pick up the needle or let the record play. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J Ray, y'all.
And this is Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you Pon de Replay. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.